Happy Saturday. Thank you very much for joining us for tonight's broadcast on this 22nd day of January. Our top stories. On Saturday afternoon at Rwanda village, President Paul Kagame received Uganda's senior presidential advisor in charge of special operations and the commander of the UPDF land forces, where they discussed relations between Rwanda and Uganda. Residents residing by the Rugezi Valley in Burera and Gicumbi districts are calling for rehabilitations to be made in order to increase the number of tourists visiting the northern province. And farmers in Musanze and Burera districts have appreciated the new prices of fertilizers set by the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources through the Hunganire program. Good evening. You are watching RTV News in English, live from Kigali, Rwanda, with me, Gloria Mutesi. As we begin this edition, let's inform you that this Saturday afternoon at Urugwiro village, President Paul Kagame received Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Uganda's senior presidential advisor in charge of special operations and commander of the UPDF land forces, where they discussed relations between Rwanda and Uganda. The discussions between President Kagame and General Muhoozi were described as cordial, productive and forward-looking, focusing on Rwanda's concerns and the practical steps needed to restore the relationship between Rwanda and Uganda. And moving on, residents residing by the Rugezi Valley in Burera and Gicumbi districts are calling for rehabilitations to be made in order to increase the number of tourists visiting the northern province and in turn benefiting from these activities. Officials in the Ministry of Environment are calling upon the general public to partake in conservation projects to better maintain a balanced ecosystem. Sam Kalisa with the details.
Early in the morning, we found Munezero Jean-Paul instructing a group he's leading to maintain the security of the Rugezi Valley. The group of 54, known as Rugezi Rangers, started operations in 2017 to rehabilitate this valley that sits on 6,700 hectares. Munezero says they solved many problems, including security. Before work, people used to cut down trees which were home to so many animals I was telling you about, including birds, and once you destroy their habitat, they are bound to move away, which is why, for the biggest part, we focus on people that want to take over the valley. We used to give information of smugglers that used to operate here. Many of them were arrested, and these activities have decreased, and our work has been significant here. Different species of birds that had fled the valley due to human population have now returned. Activities aimed at restoring biodiversity are also ongoing. Residents say the Rugezi Valley's development is significant in terms of protecting the environment and attracting tourists. While standing on the hill and look at the landscape of this valley, everyone would wish to come and visit this place and experience the natural beauty of this valley. We wish for so many other Rwandans across the country to come and visit and see the beauty of this place. We have so far planted over 15,000 trees on the Basebya Island and over 18,000 trees on the Murwa Island. All the activities done here, it's the residents of these places that help us do that. We plant for them grass in addition to the one they look for themselves, for their fields, which they feed their cows, which enables them not to destroy the valley. Those are some of the jobs created for these residents. Crested cranes make up a big percentage of all birds in this valley. A quarter of the 1,000 crested cranes in Rwanda are found in this valley. As a result, the Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association has continued its activities in the valley. Dr. Nsengimana Olivier, the head of the association, emphasizes that such environmental conservation activities attract more tourists in such places other than just national parks. We create jobs through the various activities we have. We create children clubs to be able to utilize the environment in a good way that benefits us. We can benefit from these activities such as tourism, and for our future generations too. The goal is to show Rwandans that we own the country. It's entirely up to us to protect our environment, and it's us it benefits. No one should do that for us.
The
Rugezi Valley is part of 6 sectors of Burera district and 2 sectors of Gicumbi district. The Minister of Environment, Dr. Jeanne d'Arc Mujawamariya, points out that such places exist across the country and that everyone's cooperation is needed for the benefit of the conservation of the ecosystems involved.
There's so many different species of beautiful birds that came back, reptiles too. You shouldn't worry about them though. We can live together with them in harmony. Various birds like crested cranes, marabou storks, all these came back, so I welcome everyone to help us in conserving and finding new places as these across the country to increase the good quality of the air that we breathe.
Rwanda is home to 4 national parks that are often visited by tourists. The increase in tourist attractions is one of the reasons why the areas in which these places are often visited and developed. The tourism sector accounted for 48% of the country's gross domestic product.
And farmers in Musanze and Burera district have appreciated the new prices of fertilizers set by the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources through the Nkunganire program. As Ghislaine Mugwaneza reports, 26 billion Rwanda francs were invested in this program until 30th of June 2022 to facilitate farmers in getting industrial fertilizers and selected seeds.
Different farmers across the country kept claiming that they had no industrial fertilizer and selected seed in 2022 agriculture season A. Farmers in Rwanda and Musanze district have said that it negatively affected agriculture.
There were no fertilizer. I haven't started cultivating yet because they said that they haven't got fertilizer yet.
On 21st January 2022, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources set new prices for fertilizers and seeds to be utilized. Farmers have appreciated the new prices and they say it will have an impact on their agriculture.
We really thank the government for the courage to provide new prices. You can see that we haven't cultivated yet because there was shortage of fertilizer. We are going to cultivate so fast since we have fertilizer now. We can't stop thanking the government that has done what's possible for us to get fertilizer. And we are still requesting for the government to lower the prices again next time.
Prices for subsidized industrial fertilizers in the 2022 agriculture season B and C indicate that an unsubsidized price for urea is 1,280 Rwandan francs and the subsidized one is 512. A farmer's price is 768 Rwandan francs per 1 kilogram. In season A, the prices for urea were 873 Rwandan francs for an unsubsidized fertilizer, 309 for a subsidized one, and the farmer's price was 564 Rwandan francs, meaning that 203 Rwandan francs is the added price. DAP non-subsidized fertilizers is 1,435 Rwandan francs, subsidized one is 603, and the farmer's price is 832 Rwandan francs, which was 1,045 for an unsubsidized and 412 Rwandan francs for a subsidized fertilizers, and 633 Rwandan francs for a farmer's price in 2022 agriculture season A. NPK non-subsidized fertilizer is 1,357 Rwandan francs and 475 for a subsidized one, and the farmer's price is 882 Rwandan francs in 2022 agriculture season B and C. Agro dealers are overwhelmed by the new prices.
We received new prices very well from the government. We are also ready to put them in actions while providing fertilizer and seeds to farmers.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has urged agro-dealers to respect the new prices and urged farmers to properly use the fertilizers. First, the agro-dealers. They are remaining fertilizers from the previous season A. We asked them to sell those fertilizers at the previous price and sell the new fertilizers at the new prices. That is what we advised the agro-dealers, because we shall be working with inspectors and there will be fines and penalties for non-compliance. Second is for the farmers. Even though they are supported by the government, prices are still high compared to the last year. Third is to follow agricultural guidelines in order to have an increased harvest. We request those three things from farmers. 26 billion francs were invested in Ngunganyire program until 30th June 2022 to facilitate farmers in getting industrial fertilizers and selected seeds in the 2022 agriculture season B and C. Sislaine Mugwaneza, RTV News.
And during the Minister of Infrastructure, Ambassador Clever Gatete's visit to the southern province, residents living near the pit-to-power plant in Gisagara district relayed to him about how they are looking forward to having enough electricity supply. They also noted that the project assisted their personal development. These comments were made as he visited the project.
During his visit in Southern Province, the Minister of Infrastructure, Ambassador Clever Gatete, has visited various activities, including pit-to-power plant in Gisagara district. This industry that is still in probation has so far supplied 30 megawatts electric energy in its first phase. Gisagara residents that live near the industry have said that they expect to have no home left without electricity since they have got this industry. This industry will provide electricity to every resident, starting from Kamumo Cell. Everyone will have electricity, as well as Gisagara and other neighboring districts. Electricity will be for all. It will also help residents in creating their own jobs. Residents have said that not only providing electricity, but they have also got money to support their families.
Having a job in this industry enabled me to get school fees for my children. It is no longer hard for me. The salary I get per month helps me to buy clothes and books for them. I had no house before, but I managed to build a house with 18 iron sheets, and I got it from here. The Minister of Infrastructure, Ambassador Clever Gatete, has noted that this year will end while they have started making significant progress when it comes to the electricity to be supplied by power plant. Because we have started 5 megawatts, then 10 megawatts, and we have now reached 30 megawatts. They are currently testing the second unit. This means that by April, all problems will be solved. That is what we are waiting for, nothing else. The construction process of 80 megawatt P2 plant in Gisagara district started in 2017 and cost 400 billion francs.
Lane and now Nyagatare district officials have warned that parents caught using their children to perform jobs meant for adults and failing to ensure that they go to school will be prosecuted in court. This comes as reports have emerged of parents in the district forcing their children to drop out of school so that they can work in the rice paddies. Nyagatare's Mvumba marshland holds one of the district's rice paddies, and child labor perpetuated by the children's own parents had become rampant here until authorities stepped up their efforts to fight the practice.
It's very detrimental to a child's development, and people should not be employing minors. They should let the kids go to school and adults do the work, and anyone giving a job to a child should be punished and made an example of, so that children can go to school.
Children no longer come here and go to school instead. We came to realize that we were violating their rights. Measures should be adopted to make this permanent so that they no longer come to work here in the marshland and instead remain in school.
A campaign should be launched, and the rice farmers warned that anyone who employs a child will be punished.
Unsurprisingly, not one of the farmers in the area known to hire children in their rice paddies was visible once our news crew arrived at the marshland, and district officials say the practice is going to be completely eradicated. What we are currently doing is promoting a campaign called Zero Dropout, and we have partners working with us on this. On Monday, we will be taking the campaign to the neighborhood level and target areas where kids miss school a lot. Every week, we now compile figures from the sectors, and they help to identify the troublesome areas when it comes to kids missing school, and this helps us to anticipate future dropout figures. Any kids missing many days of school are then summoned with their parents and asked to return to regularly attending, and any found to have been engaging in child labor are warned. When it becomes a repeat offense, the adults are held accountable, especially the employers. Last year, we rescued 8 children from such forms of works, and the employers of 2 of them were referred to the Rwanda Investigation Bureau for what they had done. During the 2020-2021 academic year, more than 2,000 children in Nyagatare district had dropped out of school, and during the first term of the current academic year, slightly more than 1,800 had been assisted to return. The latest figures indicate that of the 174,000 children supposed to be in the district schools every weekday, up to 12,000 regularly miss some days of school during the week, an indication that the problem is far from resolved. In other news, on Saturday, Engine petrol stations announced the winners of its latest promotional competition. The customers of the stations were eligible to win flat screens, motorcycles, and a vehicle that went to a one Patrick Habineza.
Aka kanya so kubabeshya ukuri kw'Imana ntegereje kureba ko ndibuze kubyuka. Izi ni inzozi mu buzima zitarutwa n'umuntu wari wo wese.
Honestly, it feels like a dream, and I am still waiting to wake up. No one can anticipate getting up in the morning to the news that they have won a car. I thank God for this, and I honestly did nothing special to win this competition other than filling up at Engine petrol stations when I am doing my job of delivering medicines. I heard about the competition about 2 months ago. I thank God and Engine for this, because this is a miracle that has happened to me.
Vuba ntago nababeshya. Gusa nyine ikintu cyambe nshimira, ndashimira Imana, ngashimira na Engine. Mu byukuri ibi ni ibitangaza bimbayeho.
To further improve service delivery at their stations and extend their reach across the country.
This stage, the most important thing for us was to recognize our loyal customer. And we are certainly and definitely very happy of the feedback we received from the customer, because it was the first promotion. After 2 years, okay, we have been able to launch in Rwanda, and we are definitely happy with the great, let's say, feedback we received from our customer.
In other news, as the culture of acquiring tattoos in Rwanda is on the rise lately, tattoo artists are pointing out that people should not be quick to judge those who choose to have their bodies tattooed. On the other hand, those that like to have their bodies tattooed rather, say that it is a way of expressing themselves.
We asked a few people why they prefer to tattoo their bodies.
First of all, it looks nice and I like it, which is why I came here. I like looking presentable and nice, and sometimes there's just isn't enough time for me to put on makeup. This solves the problem.
First, tattoos are a style, no different from the clothes you wear. It's just a way to look nice.
There's no difference between regular makeup and tattoos because the shape is the same. I don't have the time to keep putting makeup on my face every morning, and I was happy to find out about this alternative, so I decided to have it done.
Tattoo artists are pointing out that people should not be quick to judge those who choose to have their bodies tattooed. This is a good job for me, and if things continue like this, I will truly benefit. We urge people to change their mindsets towards the whole practice and stop thinking that every tattooed person is some sort of thug. It's not always the case. People get tattoos for different reasons. Sometimes it's to remember a loved one they lost, sometimes just to look good. Just because a person is emotional about their deceased parent, it doesn't make them a hooligan. Tattoo parlors are also working to improve their image and address any health concerns the practice may raise.
Na tattoo tunapana appointment. Yani tu mtu afike kama vile unaingia kwenye boutique unafika unaikala tattooage hapana.
To get a tattoo, you must first get an appointment. You don't just walk in and take a seat. We take care of 2 people at any one time, and the reason is so that we keep track of the needles we use, careful to sterilize them and never use them on different individuals at the same time. Also, it helps with respecting social distancing guidelines, and here we are able to maintain 1 or even 2 meters between people at all times. We avoid overcrowding in the studio. Not all tattoos are permanent, and a person can choose how long they want to have them, while others are.
So we'll leave it at that for today. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you and keep you. And until next time, I'm Gloria Mutisi. Bye for now.